In this lesson, we are going to create a program that will help us to print all the Fibonacci numbers from M to N. So basically, we need to take the starting point and ending point from the user, and between that range, we are going to print all the Fibonacci numbers, okay? And already we have done quite many Fibonacci related programs, so there is nothing new. Let's start again from the beginning. Maybe the same concept we'll be using. Okay, so here at first I'm going to create the basic structure. Let's do that. We are going to use hash include and then studio.h as usual, and then we're going to use integer main just to create the main function from where the program going to start. Okay, and now that we have the basic setup, let's start. First of all, we're going to declare a few variables here as we already discussed. So we're going to take two user input for starting and ending point. So therefore we have declared m and two variables there. Okay, and then for Fibonacci numbers, the first one will be 0 as usual and the second one will be 1. Okay, and then we're going to take a variable called Fibonacci as usual. So these are the few things we did it quite many times. Okay, now let's take the user input, and of course we will make sure the validation is there. So enter the value of m, enter the value of m. This is something we're going to ask the user to give us, and we're going to take that. But when we're taking that, we want to make sure that we are following the best practices as much as possible. So of course we are going to add the validation there, %d, and then we'll take that one inside the variable m. If there is something wrong there, then we are going to show some sort of message, and this is something we already discussed quite many times, and therefore I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, so here we are going to show the message invalid input, and then let's continue. We are going to show please enter an integer. So if somebody gives us like any characters which is or letters, let's say A B C D, something like that, in this case it's going to show please enter an integer. Okay, even if somebody gives us floating point number, something we do not expect, in this case we are going to show this message. So let me just be sure integer here to show. Okay, now that we have the basic setup for the input validation for one variable, I think I can continue, and let's make sure that we are going to return to the compiler if something wrong here. Okay, return 1, and let me close this terminal as well so that we can focus where we need to. Okay, now I'm going to copy and paste this one. So let's do that real quick. We are going to say this time we want to get the value of n, and user will give that value. We're going to store that one inside n, and if something goes wrong, we're going to show this message as well. Next thing, what we want to show, if somebody, let's say, give us negative values. Okay, we are trying to find out Fibonacci numbers between a range. But if someone gives us value here for m, let's say -1, and also here let's say -2, we are not working for the negative values, so we are only working for non-negative values, and therefore we can also add some condition checking for that. So here I'm going to copy and paste, and this time I'm going to say if either one of them, so if m less than is 0, or, and then we can say n less than 0. In this case we can show some sort of message, hey, we're not dealing with negative number. So invalid input, m and n must be non-negative. M and n must be non-negative. Okay, so we are only looking for the positive numbers. This is done. The next thing, when somebody gives us the range here, let's say somebody start with saying that I want to see from 10 to 100, which is completely fine. But if someone say I want to see from 110 to 100, this is something we're not dealing with. So the initial value or the starting value should be less than the final value, the end value. So in this case we can make a condition checking. Let's go down below here. I'm going to copy and paste this one, and this time we're going to say if m is greater than n, if the initial value, the starting value, is greater than the last value. In this case we need to say invalid input, m must be less than or equal to n. Okay, m must be, here I'm going to cut this one, m must be equal or less than, let's say whatever, less than or equal to n, equal to n. So now that we have already dealt with the conditions that we need for validation, now we can move to the printing the Fibonacci numbers from m to n. So here I'm going to write a message printf, and we're going to say let's say Fibonacci numbers between or from m to n. So I'm going to print %d to %n here. Okay, so we have 2% and basically they are responsible to printing m to n. So let me just print a new line, and then I'm going to print these two variable m and n. That should be all for everything that we need. Now let's continue. What do we want to do? Again, we can test everything here, whatever we did so far. So I'm going to compile and run, and we're going step by step. There is nothing to hurry here. So let's say if somebody gives us a here, and immediately you can see it's not going down below because this is not a valid integer, right? So we are stopping there and making our program more efficient. Let's say this time I'm giving right number here, 12 for m, but for n I'm going to give a, and immediately it's stopping there because this validation is working this time, right? Let's continue. I'm going to compile and run again, and this time I'm going to give the right value 10, but for n I'm going to give -1, which is a negative number, and immediately it should stop here. This condition is working completely fine. Now let's try the next one, which is something greater than the initial number cannot be, greater than the n number. So the beginning point should be smaller than the ending point. So here I'm going to give 100. So, and then the last value I'm going to give 1, which is not right? So in this case, it says invalid input m must be less than or equal to n. So this one is also working fine, fair enough. Now let's run this program, and let's say if someone give us 1 here, so the first value of m is 1 and the last value of n is 1. And in this case, what do we want to do? So in this case, we just want to print only one number, right? So that's why what we can do here, we can use an if condition here. And let's do that. If a is greater than or equal m, so we know that our first value start with 0, right? So here, let's put it that way. Or n, a is less than equal n. So what is basically happening here is somebody gives us the value m, let's say 0. Okay, I will do it like that so that you can understand. Here I'm going to cancel it and run it. So this time, let's say if somebody gives the value of m 0 and the last value of n is 1, so now this condition will work because a less than equal m, the initial value of a is 0. As you remember, we have already declared that here. So this condition will work, 0 greater than equal 0 and 0 less than equal 1, which is completely right. In this case, we just want to print only one number, which is 0, right? So let's do that. We are going to print the value of a. Okay, and also maybe we can print a new line. Again, this is not necessary. We can maybe, later on we can take out this new line. And now what about if somebody gives us the value here, let's say for the b, we can also check that. So we're going to check for b this time, b less than n. And here I'm going to print b. So what basically is happening this time? Let's say if somebody start from 1 and they want to run until 1. So in this case, the value of b is going to be, of course, 1, as we already declared at the top. So 1 is greater than 1, which is true, and 1 is less than equal to 1, which is true. In this case, we're going to print 1. So these are the conditions only for printing 0 and 1. That's all. So first two. But after that, we can run our program as usual. So let's do that here. I'm going to take out this one. And let me just take this one a little bit sideways. And let's focus on here. So while loop. We're going to run a while loop. And what do we want to do? We want to print all the Fibonacci numbers, right? From m to n. And let's do that here. So first of all, how can we find out the Fibonacci number? We can say a plus b, and that's how we are going to find the Fibonacci number. That should be all. And then we know that we are going to change the value. A will have the value of b and b will have the value of Fibonacci. And this is something we have done quite many times. And we want to run it until, of course, the loop is going to be true. Now, at some case, of course, we need to break the loop, right? And when we are going to do that. So when we reach the end point, then we can stop it. So that's why what I will do, if the Fibonacci number, if it goes beyond the n value from the user, if it goes over the final value that we get from the user, then we can break the loop. All right. Otherwise, we are going to print it. So in this case, if Fibonacci number is greater than or equal to m, or that means, which is basically you are saying if the Fibonacci number is greater than or equal to initial point, then we are going to print our Fibonacci number. So let's do that. Here I'm going to copy and paste this one, and let's print the Fibonacci number. That should be all. Now, as I said, I really do not want to print this new line. We can take this one, but let's keep it anyway. Let me just compile and run. And let me show you what happened. This time we're going to give the range here, let's say 5. start from 5 and then it goes until, let's say, 20. So we want to see all the Fibonacci numbers between 5 to 20, and you can see all of them here. So hopefully it makes sense. Now you can also find how many Fibonacci numbers you have found. So you can use a count variable and you can count them up together as well. So that should be all. I hope it made sense, and that should finish our Fibonacci series as well.